That was amazing. And that was less amazing. Here he goes. Chew it. Yeah, here we go. Bite that off.
The point is the suffering.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, man. That's why I play the blues.
That part sucks. This is not the best I've ever heard him.
Hey everyone, welcome to Piano Professor Reacts. I'm your host Jacob, and I'm joined by Dr. Ryan Kelly.
What is up, Jacob?
I'm in a Chopin mood today. Does that work for you?
That works for me. I already got it pulled up. Tell us what you've chosen for us to react to today.
I have chosen the Double Thirds Etude by Chopin in G sharp minor. See, this is where I can already get some of your piano professor wisdom. His name is Daniil Trifonov, and I think that's my first question. How do you say this guy's name?
Your guess is as good as mine. I've heard a lot of people call him Daniel. Obviously, that's an Americanization of an Eastern name.
Yeah, maybe we can affectionately just call him Dan for the purposes of this conversation, and then I'm sure the pronunciation police will come and let us know in the comments.
I'm sure. All right, let's check it out. Okay, one of the things I like love about watching this pianist play is his chin. He is freaking working. Look at him. Right as he starts to play the left hand, he starts to chew on what he's about to do. Watch it again. Here he goes. Chewing. Yeah, here we go. Bite that off. So I know I keep stopping it, but one of the interesting things I think about this first few seconds is actually how unclear the thirds are. He's not trying to be classical at all, like a clear, like classical sound, like a Mozartian like scale or something like that. I've heard people actually do the opposite. I don't know. I like what he does. I like how it kind of starts. It sounds like a train coming from far away, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see what he does with the next couple of pages. Beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. Jeez. That part sucks to play, by the way. So hard. Amazing. You know what? I will say this is not the best I've ever heard him. I noticed like a few moments. I don't know if you catch them where I think he probably hides a little bit of like technique that maybe isn't like perfect. And usually when I hear him, it's like completely perfect. And before you blow up in the comments, I'm definitely not saying I could do better. Have you ever heard him play Jacob the Transcendental Etudes? Transcendental Etudes?
No, I have not.
It's like truly unbelievable how good. The only person I think I've heard do it as good is the guy who won the Van Cliburn, Yunchim Lim. His were as good as Trifonov's, but Anyway, let's talk about this piece first, just kind of like some general background of this piece, like what it comes from. I'm sure a lot of people that watch this know about this, but a lot of people probably don't. So this is from the Chopin Etudes. So the Etudes comes from the word étudier. It means to study. And these are concert studies by Chopin. And it's basically, Chopin will take a technique such as double thirds. This is often called the Double Thirds Étude. And he will write an entire piece based on that technique. So the famous, like, that famous first Etude is the Etude. The study in that one is about the contraction and the expansion of the hand over and over and over, up and down the piano, right? So it's played to the right hand. You don't cheat on Etudes, because the whole point is you do this technically difficult thing in this like concert piece style setting, and you can do it. And people that play like the entire collection of like Etudes are insane. The Liszt Transcendental Etudes that Trifonov plays, even more insane. I think those are more difficult than Chopin Etudes. You should check out number 5, Faufolet. Let's talk about this piece now. This piece is the Double Thirds Étude, and it is basically like you play 2 notes at once in the right hand almost the entire time for about 2 minutes, right? So it starts off with a really, really difficult for students to do. And it's, you have your hand and your fingers are different lengths, right? And playing 2 notes at once, often when you get students to do this is one of the exercises that I would have a student do before they attempted something like this. You'll get, so here's the exercise. And I didn't even do it perfect then, but you'll get, it's very hard to get the notes to go down at the same time every single time, right? And to do it at speed. But yeah, this is one of the exercises. And then you do it progressively faster. But you want to, as you get faster, you want to make sure that your notes are going down at the same time. So it's really difficult to do that, especially like in a piece like this that's 2 minutes long.
Where do you feel that in your arm? I mean, I know it's a combination of everything, but where is that coming from for you?
When you do it incorrectly, you feel a lot of tension in your forearm. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where most, like if I'm like really strained and a lot of tension, not only do my thirds like fall apart, but I feel it in the forearm. It should come from like the shoulder, relaxed. You should feel pretty loose up through your arm. You want to know my favorite exercise for learning how to do this?
For sure.
This is actually a super controversial exercise too. So people are going to disagree with me if they study piano for a lot of this, which is why it's awesome to talk about. So what you do is, and actually kind of like, I show this in the Piano by Pictures like community. I do this exercise, the precursor to this exercise a lot, which is you just put your fingers in like a 5-finger position, C major, and you hold all the notes down, and you lift one up, and you feel tension, and then you bring it down and you relax. It's good for stretching, it's good for finger independence, it's good for finger strength, and it's the precursor to the exercise where this would probably be hard to show on there, but you play a C6 chord, C, E, G, A, C, and you do thirds. Couple times. And what I'm doing is just the same way I did in the other exercise. I'm lifting my fingers high to play this third, and it's not necessarily a third, and then I bring it down with a loud sound. And then after I've done that a couple times, now I flat the third. So now I'm playing a C minor 6. Then I flat the 5th, and I'm playing a fully diminished chord. And then I flat the 6th, and I'm playing the 5-7 chord of the next key. So I'm playing A flat 7. And then I do that same pattern in the next key above. So doing that, it's like kind of the point is obviously you're playing thirds. You're also playing it across an octave, which means you're stretching your hand. You're also doing it through multiple keys. Which means you're stretching your hand in multiple ways as you kind of navigate through the white notes and the black notes.
And would you do that in the left hand too?
Do that in the left hand too. Yeah. I mean, like ideally, obviously this, yeah, right. Obviously this piece is mostly the right hand playing thirds, but there is a section in here that does it. And the thing is, I think, you know, the internet can correct me on this, but I think from school, I remember Jonathan Browning, who was like a famous, he was a Juilliard professor, like performed everywhere, played with everybody, obviously very good. He said the best way to get a student to get good at single notes is to have them practice double notes. And yeah, and I think it's kind of training, you know, if you want to train for a marathon, like train for an ultra marathon, it's like you kind of, you know what I mean? You kind of like do more than the required thing and train like a step above so that the thing below becomes easier. And I have found that when I've like trained, so I learned this piece when I was in high school, and it was way too hard for me. It's still probably too hard for me. It's a really hard piece. But the thing I think that made me able to get through it was just the training of the double notes, right? Was exercises like that, and then my teacher had me do that, my high school teacher, and he knew what he was doing. Those types of exercises, doing them over and over, not only helped me learn the double thirds etude at that time, but also helped, I think, all aspects of my playing. It helped me play Beethoven, helped me play Rachmaninoff, helped me play all kinds of things. And then when I went to college, definitely was not the best pianist like in my class. But like I think I was, because the best at the double note thing, and so my teacher was like, "Oh, you're good at double notes. Like you should let's play this Rachmaninoff D minor etude. Let's do this. Let's do all these." Yeah. He wanted me. He's like, "Oh, you should do Faux-Fillet," and I never did that one, but yeah, I mean maybe one day, right?
Yeah, when things slow down with the business stuff.
With Piano by Pictures and our massive community of adult learners and the YouTube channel and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I spend so much time video editing and then I just play Amazing Grace over and over and over.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we do. I mean, like we talk about this stuff in this channel for fun, but like most of what we do is teaching adult beginners. Now these days my creativity is like, how do I teach that really simple thing in a way that 5 different people with 5 different learning styles will understand it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's listen again to him now that we've gone through, and talk about just like a couple more things now that we kind of have a history of this piece and what an etude is, and we'll stop it a little bit more this time. Do you hear the? I don't know. It's like it's kind of messy, like right at the beginning. It's not. I think this one might be on purpose. I never heard anything from Trifonov that's not like completely flawless. So
he's 19 in this video too.
Oh, he's 19. Yeah. So the left hand in this part is like playing. I remember when I was like young, this was like one of the first things that I learned about like voicing the top, you know? And then also creating a line. Because the music, even though the technical fireworks are in the right hand with the going up, the music, like you want to create that kind of line. He decrescendo. He does it all beautifully. And then slows down slightly before starting the next phrase. That was amazing. And that was less amazing. He's messed up. Brilliant. Yeah, dude, that was flawless. I love the way he does this. I love this part in the piece because we've been in G sharp minor for a while, and then all of a sudden we go to this like C major, this like floaty, right? I view this part like the top of the roller coaster. It's like breathless, like we've gone to the very top, and then he does this really well. Very vigorous, right? And he does the same thing again, different key. And this part sucks because the left hand has to play the thirds too. So here he's voicing the top in that left hand and Oh, that's interesting. He cheated. You catch that? That's a little...
He did this thing.
Yeah. He did the Glenn Gould, Goldberg variations, cheating. Yeah, I mean, it's actually cool, like, because I don't know if you've had this experience, but like my right hand and my left hand are trading melody thumbs in the middle of the keyboard while there's all this stuff going on. Right. Whenever you have like hands trading anything, it's hard to keep the line going in the right direction for notes not to get pokey, like stick out. Because if you were phrasing this melody, dun, 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 right? And so the each F sharp gets louder and louder and louder. And then, but when you're trading, it's hard to like keep that line completely logical all the way through. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to keep track of like how hard you hit the note with your left thumb and
right, correct.
Keep adding and
yeah, it's a nightmare, man. That's why I play the blues.
Yeah, this I mean I can't even do it obviously the way I had to figure out his fingering, but doing this big long line, this long descending line, and then switching and playing like that is easier in some way because it's kind of getting him his right hand a break from playing the thirds, but it's harder in another way that hard to make sure that doesn't come through as like pokey. I had a teacher in my undergrad who would say that's totally cheating. Like you can't do that. That like you have to like play the thirds all the way with the right hand. The pain. That's the only way to play etudes, and you can cheat on everything else, but the etude you can't cheat on because that's the point of the etude.
Oh, okay. The point is the suffering.
It made me think of this like funny story from a lesson in Manhattan with this woman. I can't even remember her name. It was like a master class I took. I performed when we were discussing fingering. And I'm like, is it okay to use this finger or that? And she goes, darling, I do not care if you use your nose. Just play it with good tone, please. So don't care. Made me want to try just to like, just to be smart about it. But I didn't. I played with my finger.
I was thinking about virtuosic music from the perspective of the composer who wrote it. So often my takeaway when I watch something like this is a feeling of inadequacy. I'm just like, dang, that ain't happening for me. I was watching his Tiny Desk concert, and he was playing, I think it was a piece that was by Schubert that was written for Chopin. And like, I watched the first part of it, I was mesmerized by his technique. And then I kind of forgot about that and just got sucked into the music and, kind of started to get a little bit emotional because of how beautiful it was. That's probably the composer's intent when they write any of this virtuosic stuff. They're really trying to make the audience feel something. Maybe me projecting my own stuff onto the song is not great, and I need to just sort of try to get at the emotional core of whatever the piece is and not worry so much about the technical stuff.
Yeah, and I think that actually goes back to just to this discussion of like concert etude. The point of like this piece is technical brilliance in a beautiful setting, technical mastery in a beautiful setting. So I would argue that in etudes, like the point is the brilliance and wow factor with the beauty. Like there's more wow factor, more of that kind of present, I think, in etudes. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like watching somebody, do something amazing, something like technically amazing, there is like emotion in that. There's excitement, right? I think Glenn Gould said that modern classical piano concerts, all that stuff is like a modern day gladiator arena.
In a lot of ways it is. Geez, like see how our comment section gets sometimes and we're not even playing the stuff. We're just talking about it. I can't imagine like the type of criticism that you get. Well, I don't like the way you played those notes right there, young man. It's like, bro, who cares? It's just noise.
Well, I mean, even like me, like it's pretty silly, and some people are going to criticize me, and that's probably warranted for like criticize. Daniil Trifonov's like one of the best pianists that's ever lived. He's one of the best pianists in the world right now, for sure. His transcendental etudes are like just absolutely perfect. And here's like little me like sitting here, oh, that wasn't perfect.
No, but I think it's kind of good for me because I don't hear the stuff on the level that you do. And so sometimes I see this and I'm just like, what the heck? And then you're like, yeah, but he's cheating here and he messed up here. And okay, it sort of humanizes it for me. And I think it's good for the general audience. I think a lot of people like Glenn Gould, for example, a lot of people think of him as a god. He's a guy. Is he like the best guy to play Bach? Yeah, but it's still at the end of the day, still just a guy. He had his own stuff going on. So I kind of like when you point out the little mistakes and stuff. When I make little mistakes too, it makes me feel a little better.
I'm gonna do it with him because it's unusual, and it makes sense that he's like younger because I haven't heard a recording. Many recordings. This is probably one of few that I've heard that isn't like absolutely perfect in every way and executed like perfectly. But man, like it's tough getting on the stage like this. This is honestly, this is a phenomenal performance. I probably never played the Double Thirds Étude that well from front to end when I was young and playing it as good as that. But there is no such thing as perfect, and I think it is good to just like point out and think about those things because it will help you in the long run, help you develop your ear to like play that. And you might not notice, I think you, like most people, if you're not, like super into the stuff or know the piece really well, that's the other thing is I know this piece really well. You might not like notice it, but if you played like side by side, like him playing it 10 years later after he's like played it a bunch and like perfected it, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's better. You might not even know why.
Yeah, you just feel it.
Yeah, you just go, oh, that's better. I don't, and you might not even be able to describe or know why, but I think that experience is pretty common.
Can I ask you a question about the whole just being 19 of it all?
Sure.
I looked it up. He started when he's 5, and then he's 19 at this time. 5-year-old to 19-year-old virtuoso. What is that life like?
So I'll tell you my my favorite story from my professor that I did my doctorate with. He one day came to me and was like, I was 26, I think, at the time. And he liked to like pick students and like prime them up to win like the MTA. I think he had 1 or 2 students win the MTNA national competition, which is a big deal. And he was like, Ryan, how much you practice every day? And I was like, oh, I don't know, it depends. And he's like, 12 hours? And I was like, 12 hours? No, not 12. He's like, 9? I was like, I teach class, I teach lessons, I practice 4 or 5 hours a day. And he like shakes his head and he was like, you will never be a pianist. So I love that story because it like puts into perspective. Horowitz said he'd only, after practicing 4 or 5 hours a day. But there are people who practice, I think Claudio Rao, practiced more than 15, 16 hours a day, like something like that. You can definitely practice a lot. So, I mean, that's like the obvious thing, but from 5 to 19, I'm sure Trifonov did not do much, but play the piano. Second is there's actually probably a lot of kids who have done that, who are not Trifonov. genetic ability, both in terms of like intelligence and in terms of like facility in his hands and the way his brain communicates with his hands. I think genetics do play, especially at this level, because you're talking about like, I mean, he's in like the Olympics, like the gymnast, the 0.0001% who not only dedicate everything to it, but are also gifted. I think that's going to be part of it at this level. And then also, I think probably just a great manager, somebody who's like running the business and running the promo, who's like very good, you know?
Yeah.
So, because there are probably like a lot of pianists that we don't know who are maybe as good or could have been as good and just didn't have like the kind of publicity and the person who understood the business, who had the connections, got him into the competitions, got him into the concert hall, and all that kind of thing. I think being a superstar is really hard. I think being a superstar in this space is like so hard. I would rather, even though I studied like piano music, I would rather try and be like a singer-songwriter and make money doing that. Like if you're like, you have to be a professional musician to make money, I would not do it trying to be a classical pianist for a lot of reasons. Because I don't think I have the genetic ability of Trifonov, B, you know, like my teacher told me when I told him I practice 4 or 5 hours a day, that you'll never be a pianist. So lots of reasons. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
I think it does. Pretty solid. He did have musical parents. Maybe you're getting close with like the genetic thing or something.
And also like family culture, right? If it's like important, to the family, you know. But it's got to be like all of those things.
When we looked at Long, we talked a little bit about Chinese cultural piano pedagogy. I don't really know anything about Russian piano pedagogy. Can you give me like a bird's eye view on their value system as piano teachers?
I think the Russians were kind of the best in the world before like 50, 60 years ago, before China and Korea kind of became like producing the best pianists in the world. And, you know, like there's still that culture like still exists in Russia. If you go to like any of the major conservatories in the United States, a lot of the faculty will be from Russia. I think my teachers from my 3 major degrees, the first one I had was an American, which was unusual, and then a Russian, and then my doctorate guy was from Ukraine. Do you want to know? Here's like a nerdy music joke for you. What's the definition of an American music school?
The definition of an American music school.
The definition of studying at an American music school. Like so it's Russian teachers teaching Chinese students German music. That's an American music. Thanks for laughing. That's an American music school.
No, I mean, I get it. It was kind of that. I mean, I was a little more on the jazz side, but I just remember all of my classmates being Korean.
From Korea and China, yeah. At Manhattan School of Music, I think when I was doing my master's, there was like 20 to 25 kids in my like kind of graduating class. And there was me and a guy from Alabama were the only Americans. I think there was a girl from South Africa and one girl from France. And then there was 20 people from Korea or China.
Sounds about right. Well, hey, at least we have less competition over here, it seems like.
No, they come over here and kick our butts every year. So I like some amazing students, like, you know, amazing students that can't get into those the Juilliard and Eastman and all that kind of stuff, and the American like students, they're like incredible and amazing, but like the Koreans and the Chinese are just better. They just come over, they train harder, they do better, and yeah, I mean, there's no denying it.
At least we still swing better. And I hear Europeans play jazz sometimes, and I'm like, I can tell.
I don't know, dude. Have you heard Hiromi Uehara play? I think she's from Japan, I think. But like,
always an exception.
She swings better than any you know, white guy at a music college.
I think I kind of hear it a little bit. There is an America sound. You listen to the Berlin Philharmonic play Bruckner, and the way that their brass section hits the notes, like the CSO, the Chicago Symphony, like they lean into it a little bit. Maybe it's a little sloppier, but it's got something to it that I appreciate.
Yeah, probably your culture. You're an American.
Yeah,
dude. I remember bringing wanted to play Gershwin. Like I think I played the Concerto in F. My teacher, and he was like, Gershwin. He's not Beethoven, but I guess he is Gershwin. He's okay. Like, yeah. I mean, and I liked it, but I think part of it was just because, I'm American, you know, like that's my culture. That's like part of my history, and it's not part of his. Like, so yeah, I mean, I think there's probably bias that exists there.
Oh, totally.
Cool, man. Well, it was fun talking about it. Looks like we went off on a tangent. We got away from Trifonov and the Double Thirds Étude, but I think it was still fun. All right, Jacob. Well, thank you very much. I will talk to you later. Everybody, let us know in the comments what you think about this performance. And we'll also drop a link in the comments if you are a beginning piano player and you want to learn piano with our simple method, the Piano by Pictures method. We'll throw a free gift in the comments as well that you can grab some books and start playing right now. Thanks so much, Jacob, and thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for your knowledge, man. I feel smarter already.